It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, the Indian team is fuming. They lodge a complaint demanding ICC take action against Pakistan players for the insensitive gestures they made during the game. Pakistan, instead of taking responsibility and ownership, have filed a counter-complaint. Are they focusing more on the theatrics rather than their own actual performance on the field? Indian football faces another roadblock. The government says only the top Asian teams will be sent to participate at the Asian Games, putting Indian football in jeopardy. Will this deal another blow to an already struggling setup and system? And even as Barcelona go gaga over Lamine Yamal, proclaiming him to be the next Lionel Messi in the ranks, maybe the heir apparent to that throne is already present. Is Aitana Bonmati, who equaled Messi after picking up her third Ballon d'Or, the legend in the making that the club needs to celebrate more? But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket, India has announced a 15-member squad for the two-test home series against the West Indies. Shubman Gill will continue to lead the side. Injured Rishabh Pant has been rested. Ravindra Jadeja has been named as Gill's deputy for this one. Karun Nair, who had an average England series, has been dropped. Devdutt Padikkal has been recalled instead. The series starts on the 2nd of October. Meanwhile, India has entered the Asia Cup final with a 41-run win over Bangladesh. Abhishek Sharma scored 75 of 37 deliveries to help India reach 168. Kuldeep Yadav, in response, picked up 3 wickets as Bangladesh were bundled out for 127. India will either face Bangladesh or Pakistan in the final on Sunday. In news from the Women's Premier League, defending champions Mumbai Indians have appointed 2-time World Cup winner Lisa Keightley as their head coach. She has a special message for the Mumbai fan army.
Carlton, it's Lisa here, and I'm extremely excited to be part of the Mumbai Indians family. I'm looking forward to being part of the team, and I cannot wait for this year's WPL season to start. See you soon, Mumbai.
Moving to football, Lionel Messi scored twice and assisted once in Inter Miami's 4-0 win over New York City. The Argentine great now leads the league with 24 goals in just 23 matches. Luis Suarez also scored on his return from a 3-match ban. With this win, Inter Miami have sealed their playoff spot. The Afghan women's refugee football team will make their international debut next month in Dubai. The side was formed to give exiled women players a platform after the Taliban banned women from sport. They will face teams from the UAE, Chad and Libya between October 23rd and 29th. And legend Tony Hawk's skateboard from his 1999 X Games has been sold for $1.15 million. It was sold for more than double its base price. The sale set a new record for skateboarding memorabilia. Hawk used the same gear for his 2.5 aerial revolution, which was branded as 900 Chick. The India-Pakistan standoff at the Asia Cup continues to stay in focus while the cricketing contest has been below par. What's fueled this face-off has been all the drama that's taken place throughout this tournament. The latest is BCCI, the Indian board, saying enough is enough. The board has lodged a complaint against Pakistan's players for the brash gestures that were made in the last game. But here's what's happening. Pakistan has counterpunched, lodging a complaint against India's captain Suryakumar Yadav. Let me tell you all that's happened so far. I learned earlier this morning that the BCCI had sent a formal appeal to admonish certain gestures that were made in the previous game between the two nations. Let me show you what they were. First up, of course, was Farhan, the opening batter. He scored a resolute half-century, but that performance was overshadowed by this gesture. His celebrations post the 50, positioning his bat as a machine gun. Now, it's great to see unique celebrations on the field, but in this context, India versus Pakistan, that, of course, didn't sit down too well. The next one, Haris Rauf, again someone who gets a tad too ruffled easily. He was on the boundary ropes during that game, and to counter the loud Indian fans, he did this. Mimicked a plane crashing and of course followed that up with a gesture of putting up 6 fingers. The claim, of course, that Pakistan made of downing 6 Indian jets. Turning a cricket contest, a cricket match, to a political battlefield. Clearly, it comes from the top down, because the same day, this is what PCB chief and Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi posted on X. Ronaldo's iconic moves contorted do denote something else, doesn't paint Pakistan in good light at all, and making this more about the geopolitical dialogue and less about the game. Even so, where did all these gestures take them? To yet another loss. So here's what the PCB has done to counter all of this. They have filed a complaint with the ICC against Indian captain Suryakumar Yadav for when he thanked the Indian army for the efforts that they'd made post the terror attack in Pahalgam. But that was after the game, and it was a gesture to thank the army after what was clearly a horrific time for India and all of the victims and their families. Even so, Pakistan seems to only know how to counter-attack off the field. After the India captain's remarks that there was no rivalry left between India and Pakistan, as it all seemed too one-sided in India's favour, their senior-most player, Pakistan's senior-most player, is responded to that sentiment with only more bravado.
That's his view. Let him say, when we meet, we will see then. We are here to win the Asia Cup, and we will give our best effort for that.
Now, this is, of course, making it all seem rather hilarious for all of us in the sidelines. Haris Rauf, not too long ago, yes, before he got into a match with the cricket fans, said Pakistan would beat India in all games of the Asia Cup. Well, that's not happened yet, but the gall and showmanship doesn't seem to end. Look, there's a final that's coming up, and it could be between these two sides. In all probability, it would. And if Pakistan qualifies, they will need more than just these gestures and that attitude. They need something dramatic to make a U-turn from all the pomp and show that they seem to be busy with, rather than focusing on their own cricket. Indian football once again finds itself in a classic catch-22. Every time the sport takes a step forward in this country, a new challenge pulls it 2 steps back. Right now, under coach Khalid Jamil, India is beginning to show signs of turning the corner. But just when the spirit was starting to rise, the Asian Games dream could vanish into thin air, because the Indian government has decided only medal contenders would be sent for the Games. So the real question is, will this move cripple India's long-term footballing ambitions? Now, let's take a step back here for a moment. After months of uncertainty, the Supreme Court gave the Indian Super League a much-needed green signal. Not a landmark reform, but a lifeline, because let's face it, without a stable domestic league, football in India doesn't have foundation. The ISL surviving means the sport survives. And to add to that, Khalid Jamil's start as national coach, 1 defeat in his first four matches, it has been a steady progress. Small but significant, enough to lift the morale of India's footballing community. But just as the system looked ready to stabilize and take a leap, the next roadblock seems to already have arrived. The government's new rule: only medal prospects go to multi-sport events. So this isn't just Asian Games, this applies to Commonwealth, Para-Asian, pretty much every event except the Olympics, of course. On paper, this seems logical. But here's the catch, the criteria is based on continental rankings. Teams in the top 8 get the nod. India's men's football team, it's 24th. Nowhere near the cutoff mark. And unless the government grants the AIFF an exemption here, the chances of India playing the Asian Games here are rather slim. Now, this is not the first time football has been left stranded like this. It happened back in 1994, again in 2018, and almost again in 2023. Last edition, after major back and forth, India was finally allowed to go and play. Go further back to 1998. The Federation had to bear the cost themselves for this to happen. And if we roll back all the way to 1962, when India won gold in football at the Asian Games, guess what? They almost didn't even take part. At the last minute, the team was cleared and they went on to win gold. This is the frustrating journey of Indian football. Denied, delayed, deprived. The question is why now though, especially after India had its best ever Asian Games in 2023. India won a total of a record 107 medals, 28 goals, their best ever finish at 4th position. Instead of curbing participation, this was the time to do more, give more chances, more representation, especially with India aiming to host an Olympics. India should aim at getting better at every sport. Yes, the football team did get knocked out of the round in the round of 16 the last time in the Asian Games, but this is about growth, not overnight miracles. Look at recent results. India shocked higher-ranked Tajikistan at the CAF Nations Cup. They went toe-to-toe with Oman. They finished 3rd in a tough campaign. Signs of progress, signs of promise. And progress can only turn into performance when players get consistent exposure on the big stage. So this decision isn't just about the Asian Games, it's about the future. Now imagine if the government in 1962 had said the same thing. No medal prospects, so no participation. That historic gold in football would never have come. India would have lost one of its proudest sporting moments. That's what's at stake here. AIFF Chief Kalyan Chaubey laid out a 10-year roadmap recently. But is that roadmap about dominating South Asia alone or building a team that can compete with the world? Indian football doesn't just need investment in infrastructure, leagues and players. That's important, yes. It needs opportunities. It needs to be backed, not blocked. Because unless India allows its footballers to dream, to play and to compete on the biggest stages, the sport will remain stuck in the same cycle of promises and heartbreak. And maybe that's the real question we need to ask here. Does India really want football to grow into a bigger piece in the future? Or are we happy to keep celebrating the past while only hoping for a brighter future? The Ballon d'Or stage witnessed history. A footballer turned into a legend before our eyes. The women's winner, Aitana Bonmati, has achieved what very few in world football have. She has now won the trophy 3 times in a row, level with none other than Lionel Messi himself. A truly historic feat, a milestone that changes not just women's football, but the sport as a whole. And here's the irony. Barcelona are busy branding Lamine Yamal as their next Messi. But maybe they already have one in their women's team, because Aitana Bonmati isn't just winning awards, she's rewriting football's legacy. Our next report tells you more.
Bonmati's rise has been nothing short of breathtaking. From a promising midfielder at Barcelona's academy to now standing on stage, crowned the best footballer in the world year after year. Her story is not just about skill, it's about consistency, leadership, and rewriting expectations of what women's football can be. Her breakthrough came in 2023. She carried Spain to their first ever Women's World Cup title and walked away with her first Ballon d'Or. People thought maybe it was just her year, but in 2024, she backed it up again, silencing every doubter. And now in 2025, Bonmati has completed the hat-trick of greatness. 3 straight Ballon d'Or trophies. That is a record in women's football. No woman has ever done it before. And in men's football, only Lionel Messi has shown such dominance. This is why this moment is historic. Bonmati has risen to the same pedestal as the greatest icons this game has ever seen.
Honestly, being in a setting like this here in Paris helps women's football a lot. It shows the world that we're getting closer to equality. We're seeing awards given out equally. It's fighting for equality, teaching that to everyone. And I'm proud to represent women's football in front of the whole world.
Her numbers tell the story better than any headline. With Barcelona women, she has won every domestic title. She lifted the UEFA Women's Champions League twice in the last 3 years. She has been named UEFA Player of the Year, FIFA Best Player, and now a 3-time Ballon d'Or winner. At the international level, she is the heartbeat of Spain's midfield. For Barcelona, she has scored over 100 goals in close to 300 matches. In Spain, she has scored 31 goals in 84 matches. Her vision, her control, and her ability to dictate games, they have turned Spain into one of the most feared teams in the world. Despite all these achievements, Bonmati's story does not get the same hype as her male counterparts. Barcelona is celebrating Lamine Yamal as the next Messi. But Bonmati is showing greatness is already here. It has arrived and it doesn't need comparisons. This isn't about being the female Messi. This is about Bonmati being Bonmati. A name destined to live forever in football's history books. And her wins mean more than personal glory. It represents the rise of women's football globally. A few years ago, the women's Ballon d'Or barely got recognition. Now, Bonmati's dominance has forced the world to sit up, listen and respect women's football with equal fervour. And it comes at the perfect time too, because women's sport worldwide is breaking stereotypes once thought unshakable. For years, women's sport was labelled less aggressive, less intense. That myth is being destroyed across disciplines. Tennis had Serena Williams leading the way, showing power could be just as feminine as it was fierce. Today, Aryna Sabalenka serves with the same fire as Novak Djokovic brings. Basketball has Caitlin Clark, who pulls the same audiences that the NBA does. Cricket has Smriti Mandhana, showing fearless batting isn't just a man's game. Gymnastics has Simone Biles, the greatest of all time, conquering not just the arena but also mental health battles off the field. And football, it has Bonmati. She's at a place where she's not just competing with her peers but is being measured against the greatest names in history. And she's holding her own. She leads Barcelona women, the gold standard in European football, and carries Spanish football on her shoulders. So the truth is clear. While the men's game is desperately searching for its next big superstar after Messi and Ronaldo, the women's game has already found theirs. Her name is Aitana Bonmati, and her legacy, it's only just beginning. Because the Ballon d'Or isn't just a trophy anymore, it's a symbol of equality, a symbol of dominance, a symbol of change. Right now, that symbol belongs to Bonmati.
Time for last serve. After Spain, now Greece is turning up the heat on Israeli sports teams. Following the fiasco in the Spanish Cycling Championship, where calls to boycott Israel made global headlines, the wave of resistance has spread to Greece. This time it's PAOK football fans who have openly revolted against their own club's decision to face Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. From banners to chants, the message has been clear: they don't want their team sharing the pitch with Israel. The backlash adds to the growing pressure across Europe, where sport is quickly becoming another frontline in the Israel-Palestine standoff. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll of course see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.